All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well. Goofy Rexy here, and launch day is currently here right now, and wanted to go through for Future Revolution and wanted to talk about just sort of the top 5 things that you should know to kind of just get yourself started. Now, later on, we're going to be making some very specific videos talking about how to upgrade your character quickly. We're going to talk about some other things like badges, costume, gear, how to go about getting the right ones, things like that. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about certain things like picking the right server, what you should be spending your crystals on, how to operate things in your inventory, what are the most important game modes that you're going to want to pay attention to, certain specific items that are in your inventory that you need to make sure that you're not getting rid of those pieces, things like that. We're going to go through that in this video today, but let's actually start off with the first thing, which is pretty much basically like your server, right? How do you pick the right server? So if you don't know, or you probably already do already, but soft launch, it was a soft launch for this game, a beta launch, whatever you want to call it. And all of those players are currently on the Omega Flight server. But they are some different servers that are in the game. You can actually select which region you want to go to: Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia. There's actually America West, America East, and in each, when you change the regions, you can select which server that you want to go into. Now, this is very important because if you're looking to play, let's say, with other friends that you know, or if you're looking to play with certain alliance members or certain family members, you're going to want to know which server they are on so that you're joining that server. And that if you're creating an alliance, right, you're going to want to make sure that you guys are all on that same server so that you guys can be together. It's very important because if you do change servers later on, you're going to have to restart the account and restart your progress. So therefore, you don't want to do that. So it's very important to make sure that you're selecting specifically what server you want to be on. Now, I know that there's some verbiage out there right now that's where players are saying, hey, don't join the Omega Flight, the America Omega Flight server, because that's where all the previous players were, the whales, the krakens, and whatever, right? People have been playing for almost 2 months now. This is where these players are currently are. Yeah, to a certain extent, I do understand that. But also with that, I will say this, that those players that have been playing for 2 months, who are krakens, who are whales, whatever, right? Those players can also help to carry you through some of the hard content that's in this game. Later on, there's going to be these higher level blitzes. There's going to be higher level raids that you're going to want to do. And you may not have the power adequately enough to do that yet. And being on a server that already has established players can actually help your progression in this game. But if you don't want to have to deal with certain things like getting blasted, one-shotted in PvP by other players who've been playing for close to 2 months or over 2 months, whatever, right, then you probably want to start on a new server. And like I said, if you want to play with friends and family on another server, then that also makes sense as well. Another question that I do tend to get often, I'm actually going to jump to my server here. Another question that I do typically tend to get very often is, what should I be spending my crystals on? And in the very beginning of the game, so there are 8 playable characters in Future Revolution, right? And in order you get 4 free slots that you can use to play with to select 4 characters. But the other 4 slots are locked. So in order for you to be able to get those additional spots unlocked, you have to spend crystals, cores, gems, whichever one that you want to call it. That's pretty much basically one of the first recommended places that I would recommend to spend your crystals on. So spend your crystals, open the additional 4 slots so that you can try out the other characters. You may want to get a feel for them first before you select which character that you want to go with. I know that right now the popular characters in the game are Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Black Widow. Black Widow is amazing in all game modes. Doctor Strange is really good for your early sort of storyline mode, and he actually works really well there. Iron Man is also pretty good. Black Widow is just cray. And then Spider-Man is actually starting to elevate his game right now because of PvP and the ability to dodge. So those are kind of like the top 4 characters I would say probably in Future Revolution. But if you like other characters, try them out first, see which ones work for you, and then make a decision. But like I said, crystals, if you want to know, one good way to spend your crystals is to buy those expanded slots. That would definitely be one of the recommended places I would go. Now, some other places where you can probably spend your crystals that will definitely be worthwhile for you is in your inventory. So when you first start playing, I think you have limited slots. I think it's only 100 slots that you have for your inventory here, but that is going to quickly sort of kind of expand up, right? You're going to get different items like your collectibles. You're going to get like med kits. You're going to get a bunch of just different random pieces, things that you can use to craft gear, things like that. You're going to get a bunch of different items, and your inventory, your badges, your cores, your costume pieces, which is your gear, you're going to get all of these different pieces and your inventory is going to get pretty maxed out. So one of the best ways to use your crystals is actually to expand this inventory. I haven't maxed out my inventory expansion yet. I could do it. I don't need the extra slot because I've learned how to crunch items and to store items, which is something that we could talk about in a later video. You can actually store items for other characters that you're going to be leveling up. So if let's say that you're running with Doctor Strange and you collect badges and you don't need certain badges on your character anymore because you already have the ones that you like. Let's say that you have like other pieces that you just don't need, other cores that you want to transfer over, badges, things like that. Omega cards, you can transfer those over and put those into storage, and then you can use those pieces later on your alternate characters. But one of the best ways that I found to expand and to use your crystals is by actually expanding these different slots here, purchasing the additional slots, and then that will help you in your quest to not always max out on your stuff here. But there's some other things that you can do with your inventory too. So you will be getting like these other these badges pretty frequently, and you can dismantle badges as well here. So badges, I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, so dismantle badges like your 1-star badges, your 2-star badges, your 3-star badges, and later on you'll probably want to dismantle your 4-star badges as well, or use those in the Convergium, in the convergence box. But that's going to be another subject that we're going to talk about in another video, because like I said, I want to just talk about really some basic things right now, because there's a lot of things that probably warrant their own video or will take a lot of time to kind of get into. And I don't want to make videos where I just overload with information. So therefore I'm kind of like parsing things out a little bit, and we'll just make another video specifically talking about, hey, what about the Convergence box workshop, things like that a little bit later on. Another place where we're talking about crystals, right? So another place where you can spend your crystals is that there are certain daily objectives that you will get, or certain daily things that you can do. So you have like your Blitz, your Most Wanted, your Spec Ops, your battle challenges, your raids. You'll have for once you unlock Arena, you unlock Omega War, Dimension Duel, Dark Zone. You have these different things that you can do throughout the day. You have your storyline quests, which are your purple quests. You have your side missions, which are your green missions, and then you have like these time missions, which are like your yellow missions. But you'll get into that a little bit later. But one of those additional things that you can do throughout the day are your raids. And if you're looking for a place where you can spend some extra crystals or spend some extra gems, I definitely recommend once you unlock raids, which I'm forgetting what level you unlock raids at, but once you unlock raids, I definitely recommend that you do spend, so you get a free run of raids. You get one free run for your raids every single day. Raids are important because you can get specializations. You can get items that you can use for specializations, and specializations you can specifically specialize your character. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't even know why I explained that, but that's what you can do with raids. But these become pretty important as you progress throughout the game. So one of my recommendations is actually that you get one free run per day, and then you can spend gems or crystals to get 2 more chances to run that same raid or run a different raid every day. So therefore I would definitely also as well use my crystals and spend my crystals there too. That's actually what I'm doing right now with my crystals, is that I typically tend to spend that on getting some additional runs of raids. You can do that with blitzes as well, but in all honesty, I don't really recommend that you do that for blitzes, because as you continue to progress throughout the game here, you will unlock blitzes at different levels. So level 20, you unlock level 20 blitz, level 30, you unlock level 30 blitz, things like that, right? It's pretty self-explanatory there. You get 3 chances to do that every day anyways, so I don't really feel like you need to expand it. You can get additional badges if you do spend the gems to get additional runs of it, but honestly, save those gems. I feel like use it for raids. That's a little bit more important because those are a little bit scarcer to get. You're going to get a lot of badges throughout the game, so I wouldn't do it for your specific badges, but raids, there's really kind of only one way for you to get those pieces that you need for specialization. So therefore I would rerun the raids, not necessarily rerun the blitzes. Those are kind of just my thoughts. Other things we could talk about. Let's talk, since we're talking about game modes, the most important game modes. I think all game modes are fairly relatively important. All your missions are important. Your side missions, which are your green missions, are important as well. But the green missions, I wouldn't start doing. So like once you go through like Newark City, Xanderth, Hydra. Ignore the green side missions and probably perhaps ignore the yellow ones too. You can do the yellow ones, they're pretty quick to do, but ignore the green side missions in Newark, Hydra, and Xanderth. The only green side missions that you need to pay attention to are Midgardia. Once you get to Midgardia, start doing those side missions. Those will help out with experience points to help you progress. So, but those are in terms of the missions. Other game modes to pay attention to. Blitz, we talked about this already. That's one way for you to get additional badges on your characters, which is going to be very important. You're shooting for 5-star and then you're shooting for 6-star badges. It's RNG based, so you're kind of gonna have to deal with that, which is the reason why you still want to run all your blitzes every day. Even now at my level 100 strange, I still run all the blitzes every single day, because even if I do get those 1 or 2-star badges, we talked about this earlier, I can dismantle those badges, and when I dismantle those badges, then I can get something called Convergium, and Convergium you need for a lot of items, a lot of things. I can actually just do this. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star badges. Let's crunch those. Don't crunch the 4-star badges early. We can crunch them a little bit later on, but keep the 4-star badges for now. But you could crunch the 1-star, the 2-star, and the 3-star badges. This gives you Convergium, gives you a little bit of gold too, but the Convergium is something that you can use later on, but you're gonna use every single day to enhance your gear, to combine cores, there's a lot of different things that you're going to need Convergium for. Actually, you don't need it to combine cores, but enhance your gear. You're going to need Convergium for a lot of things. To craft gear in the workshop, you're going to need Convergium for a lot of stuff. So therefore, crunch those. That's also another way for you to free up your inventory as well, is to dismantle those lower badges. But do your blitzes every day to get those badges. Raids, really all of them are important. I wanted to talk about this one specifically though, which is Spec Ops. Spec Ops is very, very, very important because these sin particles right here. So there's a way for you to craft gear in Future Revolution through the workshop, which we'll talk about specifically later on, how to craft gear and things like that. But these pieces right here are very scarce. Just know that they're very scarce and that you're going to want to make sure that you're running Spec Ops every single day, because the only way that you can get these sin particles right now, I don't even see them in the shop anymore. The only way that you can get sin particles is through the Spec Ops, and you can only do Spec Ops once a day. But if you miss it, then you can't get these sin particles. So other than just doing other than running a storyline with another character, that's the only way that you can get the sin particles. So you need to make sure that you're doing your special ops every single day, because it's the only way that you can get sin particles, and you need sin particles in order to be able to craft gear. And then everything else is really important. Raids, we talked about that already, but definitely wanted to talk about Spec Ops where that's concerned. But I think that's pretty much basically it for me right now. Just kind of like the main things to pay attention to. There's a lot of other things to go through, like, hey, how about what are the best costumes? How can you level up your character? Oh, we should actually talk about that before I go. In your inventory, last thing, in your inventory, right? You're going to be getting these different costume pieces. You see how some of these pieces are currently locked. I don't know why this one is locked, by the way. Sakar costume. These different pieces are going to get locked. These are what you're going to call regional costumes, or which is regional gear. The regional costumes give you higher stat boosts than a piece of gear that's just like modern or blue or 1602, whatever. Those regional pieces, like your Midgardia, Xanderth, Hydra, those pieces of gear are very rare. It's very hard to get those pieces, and when you do unlock them, they come locked. Because you can use costumes to enhance costumes, right? And they lock this on purpose to make sure that you don't use these pieces to upgrade other costumes, because they're very, very, very rare. Please make sure that you don't do that. Do not unlock them. Do not use them to enhance costumes. That is not going to be good. You are going to be kicking yourself. I am saying that because I did the very same thing. Currently, right now, you also get higher set bonuses once you get all the pieces. And like I said, they're rare to get. So right now I only have one Hydra piece, but I used to have a second Hydra piece, and earlier on I unlocked it and then I used it to enhance another piece of costume. And now I have lost the ability to even just get the 2 set bonus. And later on, now I'm going to have to grind, and it's all RNG. Once again, this is very RNG, and I am not able now to I've pushed out my ability to be able to get a full 4 set of this Hydra piece now, because I used an earlier Hydra piece to enhance another costume that probably wasn't even important. So this is a mistake that I made. So don't make the same mistake that I make is basically what I'm saying. But listen, I'm going to stop the video here. I feel like there's a lot more that I could go into, but seriously, I don't want to overwhelm anyone. And I went through a lot of this content really quickly because I just, in all honesty, I don't want to overwhelm anyone. There's a lot to start off with in this game. And listen, I'll make specific videos about certain things like costumes. What are the best costumes to go after? How do you find those costumes pieces? How do you farm? How do you AFK farm? Things like that. I'll go through that in another video. Badges, Omega cards, all this different stuff. I will go through that in a later video. More to come in the next couple of days here, guys. But appreciate you guys watching the video. Let me know if you have any specific questions. Leave that in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Ooh, global launch day for future rev. Global launch day for. All right, I'm done. It's way too early for me to be doing this.